Hi, good evening. How's everyone? This is the almost the second last class we have. So we're going to try and wrap it up with chapter 7. We're going to break it into 2 classes. Okay, so let's turn to page 20 of this book. Page 20. Now this chapter is called After Doing the Above, the Arts Come Next. What were the above? That means being filial to parents, good to parents, being good to brothers and sisters, be cautious in our daily life, be trustworthy, love all, and be close to the virtuous. And now we come to, to study. Okay, what is the right approach of study, of learning? Now, 学, as we said, actually mentioned in the previous class, that 学 in Chinese has 2 meanings. One is learn, the other is awaken. So 1, it means to learn. Learn about what? It's to awaken or enlighten. So 1 is through the 学. The other one is 悟, which means that with these 2 hands, I will lift up whatever that is, obstructing the wisdom, obstructing the awareness of this student. So 学 is not just about learning, it's also about awakening. Awaken from our delusions, awaken from our illusion, awaken from what was not correct. Right? So, 于力学文. So, what is the importance of learning? Okay? The important about learning is we must be able to practice it, or able to put what we learn into the context of reality. So the analect, the first word is 学而时习之. That means always practice, okay, what we learned from the saints and sages. Okay, the premise is learn from the saints and sages, not just learn from anybody. Because you can learn the wrong thing. You can acquire the wrong, knowledge or know-how, which is actually not too constructive to your happiness. Do we all not want to be happy? Would you like to be happy? Of course, we want to be happy, right? But most of us are suffering. So ever since we are born, we realize that we are suffering. How do we know that? You look at the baby, okay? Listen to the baby. When the baby was born, the baby cries, right? So how does he cry? He came out and said, "Kua, kua, kua." Ku is suffering, pain. Ku, bitterness. The word ku is bitterness. It's bitter. So that's why bitter, if you put pain, if you add this one, 痛, bitter pain. Okay? 苦痛, 痛苦. 苦海, the suffering, the sea of suffering. Okay? Bitter, 苦, suffering, pain. So the sound of crying, which is ku, is very similar to ku. So baby knows it. You know, it was very comfortable sitting in the mother's womb, warm and swimming, right? And he doesn't even have to open up his mouth to eat. The mother just feed everything directly to him. But hopefully mother knows the proper things to eat and drink. Otherwise, they know, they feel, directly, okay, your diet. So that baby, he was forced to come out. And it was actually must be quite nice down there, not too bright, right? It won't be too brightening that actually can, what we call, he couldn't even blink his eyes, open up his eyes. But when he was born, all this bright light suddenly shines into him. Okay, so he has to forced to look at all these bright lights. And normally he's delivered in hospital. Hospital is cold, right? It's cold. Now, he came from a very warm environment. Suddenly, thrown into a very cold room. And if he decides not to cry, what would the doctor, the baby do? They pat the bottom. Now, and there you go, what are these people doing? Why are they patting my bottom? So I cry and I start calling, Kua, Kua, Kua. 很苦啊, 是不是? We knew it, right? We knew it. It's kuwa. When we were born, kuwa, kuwa, kuwa. So all our life, we're trying to seek happiness. It could be the happiness we thought we have by having good food, satisfy our taste buds, or enjoying our our visual sensory by watching movies and feeling all these happenings that are, in the movies, which we would like to see happen to our lives. Or hopefully that rotten things that happen to our life will be able to cure, in the movie. So whatever we can't cure in our life, we hope that by watching the movie, our life will be cured, which we actually don't do too much about it. For instance, we all like to watch games, right? We like to watch sports, right? Now, I like to watch soccer, okay? But I will never play soccer. Why? Who wants to kick that little ball, from one side of the field to the other field, and just about when you cross the halfway, your enemy kick it back to your side. So you run over, get the soccer ball, and then you puff, and then you go over there, and then ding, they pass it over back here. And then it's like you're chasing. Do I want to do this? No. I would like to sit in my living room with a glass of Coca-Cola, a pizza, and just watch. Yes, very good. Dun, 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 dun. I play soccer. We're satisfying, our cravings, through this little box, this wonderful little rectangular thing, right? And we have smartphones and all sorts of things. But there is still some hollowness inside. It seems that we need to have something to feel it. That's why we can't get rid of our smartphone. Why? Because we open up our smartphone, there are new things to read, right? There are so many things coming through the instant messages. You don't need to do anything. You don't have to go anywhere. You can get news from all over the world. Even your friends, you know what they eat. You know where they went. You know who they met. All these things. You don't even have to call them. And whether you want to know it or not, they come to your living room. And they come to your bedroom. So you're just watching all this, okay? But do you really need to know that much? Do you really need to know what they have eaten, which restaurant they went to? All these things will put ideas into our heads. So our heads are full of information that we don't really need, information that we most probably don't quite care about because it's nothing to do with my life. Or if they are useful, hopefully they're useful, then I can help to seek happiness. So if we were to send out mass mailing or in Moments or in Facebook, why not put something that is constructive? Something that can enlighten people. something that can help people to think. My friend sent me this message. He said, if you cannot help somebody, at least don't hurt them. I thought, hey, something for me to think about. If you can't help somebody, at least don't hurt them. Okay? Make their life a little bit easier. Right? And a lot of good messages, like those cute pictures and little things here and there. And I heard a speaker said, he talks about envy, 妒忌, huh? Next time you see a man with Ferrari, Ferrari, just consider him as a man who is deeply in need of love. This is the kind of joke which, you won't crack up, you won't ha 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 ha. But you think you will start to ha 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 ha. Why else he would buy a Ferrari? He doesn't even drive often, but it gives him the pleasure of what? Of admiration. People look at Ferrari, they admire him, it gives him satisfaction. That means that is how he seeks his happiness. So we all want happiness. We're all chasing after happiness, but mostly on the material end. We seem to think, our materials, our senses can help us to find happiness, only to find that we need more and more and more. And that's never enough. Right? We all play computer games, right? But of course, we will say we play very harmless computer games. What are the harmless computer games? Like, what? Candy Crush. What is that? Very harmless. Okay, Candy Crush. And what? Vegetable Plot. And what do else we play? Twister. The word twist. And Quill. Or that you got that water drop and you ding, you try to go and get out the maze, that kind of thing. It seems harmless, isn't it? Do you know how much time we can spend on that thing, just going ding. And bejewel all these, like you crash this and ding, then you crash that, ding. And is that happiness or temporary moment of suspension of us refusing to deal with our problems? I think it's temporary moments of release from facing our problems. We don't want to think about the problems anymore. We don't want to deal with our problems anymore. Let my mind rest. Totally something that is totally what? That is not very useful to my life, but it doesn't matter. As long as I can keep my mind off the problems. Only to find that you may create more problems. Why I says that? I was, like my friend sent me this game, okay? So I was doing this. It was fun, the water will break away the walls and then it will go somewhere and you knock down all the obstacles and then you get marks. To me, the marks wasn't even important. I never look at the score. I never compare scores. I just wanted to let my mind off all the personnels, all the so-called, peoples, from people, among people and people. Their problems. I just want to get my mind off it. Then I found that suddenly these images of these water drops keep popping up in my mind. I can literally see these water drops floating across right in front of me. I wasn't even playing. I wasn't playing the game. But I saw the drops keep on moving in front of my eyes. When I close my eyes, I can see them in my mind. I have no idea that it can impress them on me, that I was so focused on playing this. So why not put my focus on something else? Instead on games. You know how when you keep shooting at objects, you start to have these images this impression of shooting that you may not even realize it. It was funny, like as I talk to you now, I can still see those water drops. I see your face, I see your faces, but I see the drops as well, right floating across. And the spike. If you put the wrong way, it will hit the spike and your water drop burst. And you won't be able to get those pearls. Okay? So beware of that, as we seek temporary suspense from our problems, don't sink into another problem where we are actually not, resolving the problems. Okay? So what is a good alternative? What is another good alternative to replace games? Recently, I find reading and listening to good speeches helps a lot because their words give me so much wisdom. So much wisdom. Like Alain said, he said, why do people feel jealous? People feel jealous because the object of jealousy is what this person wants. Why do you feel jealous over your brother? Because you actually want the same love from your mother. Why do you feel jealous over the other woman? Because you would like to have your husband look at the way he look at that girl, to look at you. So the thing behind jealousy is that you actually want to have the same thing. Otherwise, you will not feel jealous. For instance, if you hate your husband, no matter what girl he talks to, do you care? You don't really care, right? But you only care because you want the same thing. So envy is the same thing. So whenever you find you're envious of something, okay, beware that is exactly what you want. Okay? So you don't need to feel envious. Okay? Think about, is that really what you want? The definition of desire is what you want minus what you need. It's a need formula. Huh? Desire. Desire equal to what you want minus what you need. So, the bigger the want, the more desire you have. Isn't it? The smaller your want, the less desire you have. So reading actually could help us, if we read good books, can actually help us to understand, what I am facing. Read a good book. I'm reading some very good books. Appreciate the arts, appreciate the architecture, and about love. Love is a very kind of interesting thing of our life. Right? So hearing these people analyze love, looking at love in a very philosophical way, it actually helps us to relieve, and understand our own suffering, and realize that our suffering is not suffering at all. In fact, it is just part of, a very natural phenomena that will happen in nature, except that man has different ways and possibly make things even more complicated than it is. Okay? And I have heard atheists, atheists? People who don't believe in God. Okay? And I've heard an atheist say this, you know what, it's wrong for us atheists to always condemn, the religious people. It's actually, we can learn a lot from religious people. Okay? Now, for instance, religious people give sermon, whereas we give lecture. What's the difference? What's the difference? A sermon is given to remind people, okay, that life is inadequate. Life is suffering. But there are ways you can cope with it. The religious people recognize that life is inadequate, love is inadequate. So they keep reminding us, hey, you got to live, you got to love, and you have to cope with death. Whereas lecture is, I'm giving you knowledge. Okay, A did this, B did that, C did that when they face love. Okay, so A, B, C, and what happened? And so it's just a lecture. And secondly, he said religious people are very good at repeating. They have rituals where they require the folks to keep on repeating. So you will hear them, chanting and chanting and chanting, or praising the names of their deities. Okay? Whereas he said, we deities who learned culture never say things like Shakespeare, 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 Jane Austen, Jane Austen, Jane Austen. We don't do that. Whereas you hear the religious people, they will say, Amitabha, 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 or God, 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 God. Okay, the true mighty, true mighty, true mighty. That's why they remember. They remember. They also remind their followers of events. Is that our mind has a tendency to forget things, which we don't really, take too much consideration about. So he said the religious people have calendars to remind them of what event and what event and what event. He said, whereas we atheists, we don't have this atheist birthday, that atheist birthday, that atheist birthday. No, we don't have that. And you look at the religious people, they can pull together the resources. They have so much money that can do a lot of things. Whereas we atheists it is bad to associate, it's bad to organize, you are individuals. So no, there are a lot of things we can learn, from these religious people. They are very dedicated, they're very nice, they're very kind people, okay, which is actually all part of culture. So as we, hear, interesting people like that talking, we learn another aspect of, of life. Other people's thinking, which it's still, is interesting. Instead of looking at the drop of water, and I can see my life minutes by minutes disappearing in this water, except as my life is shorter and shorter, the water drops are becoming bigger and bigger and keep on appearing in front of my eyes. Now I have to detox myself. I'm wondering, how am I going to take those water drops off my mind? Okay. So, 于理学文 is at the point of the fact that the importance of acquiring knowledge. It is important to acquire knowledge, okay, to acquire, about things, happenings, and facts. But if we do not sincerely apply what we have learned from other people's experience, we will have only increased our conceit, what then will become. Now, there are many definitions of education, but I tend to buy what the ancient Chinese think education is. 教. Remember this? Okay? Something taught by our parents or elders or teachers, and then we learned, okay, as a child. We respectfully. Why is this child kneeling? To show respect. Okay? Respectfulness. Okay? Respectfulness, receiving the teaching from our teachers and our elders and our parents. And this also means that it comes from the previous generation. Okay? It comes from our parents, our elders, the previous generation, which all denotes what? Experience. We can't possibly experience everything. So we need to rely on knowledge or experience of people whom, have done things that make a difference to the world. They create peace for the world, they create prosperity for the world. They help people to become better person, to really have happiness. We learn from these people who can help people and help themselves, to really seek happiness. So, but the person receiving this should be respectful. Okay, not just standing up and, hey, give it to me. But respectfully beholding this experience, this knowledge from our previous generation. Okay, so 上所思, it comes from 上. 是下校. Okay. What is taught from the above will be learned, okay, from below. Okay, 上所思，下所效. This also means it comes from the experience. Okay, they learn from three things. They can learn from your speech. You can learn from your action. Okay, 身教言教. And then it can also learn from the surrounding. Means 敬教. It could come from the speech, the action, and the surrounding. 言教, 身教, 跟敬教. Three ways we can learn, okay, from here. So here it also means that we have to set an example, okay, for our students and our children. Then on the other side, is a hand holding a whip, which means that you have to supervise, you have to follow up. Otherwise, what you teach will be lost, which means this one have to be repetition. That means you have to be patient. You have to be patient over here, and you have to set example over here. Patiently supervise. The object of your teaching, which comes with the element of repetition. So education, in the older sense, is a transmission of heritage and culture. And technology actually it can be an evolution from here. So it's a transmission, okay, of heritage and culture from our elders, from our parents, okay, with their supervision, with their patience. Okay. That's where the repetition comes in. People need to be reminded. We need to be reminded all the time. Okay. So don't just read something and then jump to the second one and jump to the third one and just forget about what we learned. Okay, it is important to keep on repeating, and over, what we study, what we learned, and then do it in our life. To test whether we can really make us happy or not. Okay, so we learned something that said, Nina, how many times we have to smile a day? Yeah. 7? Only 7 times? You sure? Okay. She's lowering the standard, okay. Okay, how many times children smile? Children will smile at least 117 times a day. Okay, so we adults, Lina, I say, if we can smile 7 times a day, it's acceptable. Okay, you make yourself happy, you make other people happy. So let's count now. Have we smiled 7 times today? Have we? No? No, huh, Jess? So you see, we learn that, right? You say, look at why are babies so happy? Why are babies so happy? They don't know anything. They just, when they see you, they go, no teeth. Baby with no teeth, but they are very happy, right? You swing something in front of the baby, they go, very happy. Ha, 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 they will laugh. Ha, 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 they will laugh, right? But we adults, I don't know how much other people own us. They must owe us a lot of money. We can't smile at them, we can't say hello, and don't seem to be able to, to be, just put up a simple smile. Right? It doesn't cost too much, right? In fact, it doesn't cost us anything, but it makes you look beautiful. Trust me, you look beautiful when you smile. You just have to look at the mirror, or, hey, we have phone now that you can shoot yourself, right? We call the mirror camera photography. You just press something on the right hand, you look at yourself, and you go, shoot. Trust me, try that, okay? Today, you go home, you take one picture that you don't smile, which is what you normally look like. You wake up, you look like this. Then, smile. It's a world different about you. Just by pull this side up, pull the other side up. It's very easy, okay? But if you decide, no, I don't want to smile, you will look like this. But if you decide to smile, see, it's a big difference, huge difference. Very simple sentence. Okay? See, there was an admirer of a Zen master. He wants to know the ultimate truth. He knows that that master who lives deep in the mountain, Liao Ke Chan Shi, could give him the answer. So he take the trip. It wasn't like us, we can take a cable car up the mountain or cycle up the mountain or drive up the mountains. There were no such things in those days. He had to walk. So he walked for many days. Then he reached Liao Ke Chan Shi's retreat. So, dear master, can you, help me? Please tell me, the truth. What is the truth, about enlightenment? Liao Ke Chan Shi said, do not do all that is evil and do all that is good. That means do all that is good and refrain from doing all that is evil. Well, to put it simply, don't do any bad things, just do good things. To put it simply, okay? 做好事不要做坏事，诸恶莫作，众善奉行。Okay? Simple 8 words. Then this man said, what? You gotta be kidding. I came all the way up here after miles and miles of hiking. You tell me this? A 3-year-old understand that, right? Right? Your mother kept telling you, don't do bad things, don't do good things, right? Your mom kept telling you that. You know that, right? You know that, right? We all know that. 哎呀，3岁儿童都知道啦。我这么远，你就告诉我这个啊 ？You gotta be kidding. That's all. Ha 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 ha. The Zen master say, a 3-year-old may know it, but an 80-year-old man can't do it. 3岁儿童知道，8岁老翁啊做不得。80老翁做不得。你看。Right? We all know it's very, very simple, very, very simple principle. It's things are very simple, okay? But we don't seem to be able to do it. Right? Like, for instance, saying thank you. Isn't that easy? Easy, huh? So how many thank you did we say today? Let me think. Let me think. It is a very difficult question. Let me think. How difficult could it be? Because we don't say thank you enough. Mom gave you something, you say what? Thank you. Husband gave you something? Thank you. Your husband called? Thank you. Why? Because he made the effort to call you. So you say thank you. Instead of saying, hey, okay, don't. When we talk to our spouse, we don't talk nicely. Huh? I always feel it because I heard our president said this, He said, okay. There's only one woman in the world who understands that. Who was he? Who was she? His wife. Only her wife would understand that kind of knowledge. That kind of information. Basically, it means, okay, I know it. I will come back and eat. 我知道了，我知道了啦，知道，You can't even open the mouth, no. Not like dating 啊，你要去吃饭吗？我载你去好吗？你要去哪里都可以的，我带你接你啊。So very simple thing. 对啊，3岁小孩都知道啊，80老翁啊做不得。So you see, the first line in chapter 7 says what? Well, if we acquire knowledge, but do not sincerely apply what we've learned, we have only increased our conceit. What then will we become 长福华嘛。When we teach those 6, 7 years old kid, 弟子规啊 they say, I already know it. 会背吗？会，背，我会背。Like that 8 years old boy, I was sitting in the class watching the teacher teach him, and the teacher asked him, okay, how many of you have read 弟子规? And all the students raised their hands, and say, okay. And the teacher asked them, okay, 来，你们背弟子规。真是不错了，父母呼应勿缓，父母命行勿懒，父母教须敬听，父母责须顺承，冬则温，夏则静。Very very fluid. And after that, okay, 好，谢谢。请问父母呼应勿缓，小朋友，大家有在家里有做吗 ？Did you do this at home? 父母呼应勿缓 ，and they all look like this. What is means? That's means. Yeah. God, they won't say no. They say, okay. So the teacher said, 你们要做做。And after that, he had this young teacher. He was quite interesting. He was treating this kid like adult. But this kid has very interesting, because they're very honest. Children are very honest. And they seem to be a lot more mature, than we did. So he told them, this teacher told them, next time you all have a girlfriend, you must bring her home to let your parents to meet up with her. Okay? 因为父母教须敬听哦。I was surprised that why would you talk to an 8 years old like that? Do they know anything about love? Trust me, they do. They do. They are a lot more mature than we were. Okay, and so he said, 你们以后有了女朋友一定要带给妈妈看。你们知道为什么吗 ？Do you know why? The 8 years old boy, 看看她漂亮不漂亮吗 ？To see whether she is beautiful or not. So you see, the 8 years old boy already knew this kind of, already plotting. 看她漂亮不漂亮吗？ Then the teacher said, 不是，不是看她漂亮不漂亮，是看你妈妈要看看她人好不好。哦。But that was his honest answer, wasn't it? 看她漂亮不漂亮吗？所以这个时候要引导她，就是要学哦，不要只看漂亮哦，要对你妈妈好哦，要孝顺啊，才好做你的女朋友啊。Now look at their faces. Most of it they don't understand, but it's good to teach them anyway because it will make an impression on them. Okay. So it's not just like, yeah, 我会了 But if they don't do it, they just consider it, well, either as a joke or, some kids who know a lot of this classical text, they will actually look down on other people. 我会背《论语》，你会背吗？你会背哈？我会背啊。And start competing, in a very negative way. It's just like if we use our degrees to show off our, ability, it's also not appropriate. Your degree does not represent your wisdom. We are sometimes not as wise as a sweeper. Someone who is very simple, who did not learn a lot from the university, but they know how to deal with human relationship. We may have PhDs, we may have 2 PhDs. You know what? We may not be able to deal with other people and get along with other people. Not like a simple. I remember this lady who said, kept telling us, 对不起，我没有什么文化的。That means, sorry, very sorry, I do not have much culture because I did not go to school. 对不起，我没有什么文化的。She's actually very cultured, isn't it? You come and say, 对不起。Whereas we may have a PhD and we say, hey. No, we are very rude. We're not comparable to this lady who didn't go to school but who was so polite. Okay? So Why is that so? Isn't that reading a lot of books good? Because it helps us to acquire knowledge, right? Why is it not good? Even though I also read good books. See, I find that actually reading good books would really help. However, every book that you read about good values, if you start putting these values on somebody else, that becomes a negative thing, which means that you are putting all your expectations on someone else and not on yourself. That's when you will be that type of person. The more you read, the worse you become. 越读的书越多啊，你就越骄傲。But if you really, really study and learn about the experience of other people, you will benefit. It's when we are ignorant that we may make a lot more mistakes. But if we can absorb the experience of wise people, or people have gone through that and how they cope with it, we'll be able to learn and become smarter and smarter. So I don't believe that, the more you read, the worse you become. It depends on, number one, what you read. Okay? If you read all kinds of, those romantic stories, you go to the series, you go to the bookstore, you got like shelves of romantic stories. Now, if you only read those stories, what will happen to you? Yeah, you all smile so sweetly, huh? Because you can't get it in life, right? What happens if similarly there is a man who looks like that, or at least give you the feeling like that? You will, mistakenly that, that is the Harlequin man that I have read so much about. He finally appeared. Trust me, those men in those novels don't exist. Life is very cruel, okay? Let's face it. My young friend once told me, he said, even the most beautiful woman in the world still pick her nose. Okay, so even the most beautiful girl in the world will still pick at her nose. 佢有咩靚? And then my classmate in university, Ron, one day he came to me, he said, you know what? He said, Bolan, this morning I saw a really beautiful girl in the bus. I couldn't keep my eyes from her until she did this. That was a total, a total disappointment. She was so beautiful. Why did she do that? So yeah, like my young friend, the most beautiful girl still pick at her nose, and my friend, classmate, will say, the most beautiful girl will do things like that. And the most beautiful girl, if she doesn't brush her teeth, well, she stinks. Or even the most handsome man. Okay, don't believe in all those posters that you saw. Okay, if you look at this man, if he should wake up beside you one day, you will find that if he hasn't brushed his teeth, he hasn't shaved his beard, he actually looks horrible. Okay, so don't believe in all these things. They're all heavily photoshopped. There is something called Photoshop now, okay? You will look like a movie star if I Photoshop it for you. Why? You see, you got these little black marks here. We can brush it all away. If your eyebrow is too thin, we can thicken it up. If it's too thick, we can thin it out. If you're too, heavy, we can slim you down, okay? So don't believe in like these pictures or this, this, what you call it, 奇语, frivolous speech. Okay, frivolous. Okay, frivolous speech, that means speech that makes you feel, tingle, a little tinglish inside, and you really believe all this sweet, sweet talking that actually can, seduce you and make you obsessed, make you can't, have your minds off, that person. It's like, this movie, okay, about, I'm sure you all know this when I do this. Which movie is that? She stand in front and she did this. And he was at the back and he did this. Which movie was that? Yeah, Titanic, right? And the music. And then the part about you jump, I jump. Whoa. You see? You know, we all love to hear that sort of thing, right? And you see, they are both beautiful people. And you can imagine yourself to be the lady, and you have this gorgeous man, you know, look at you. You are the only one I love. Without you, I'm never able to live and find another person like you. You are, whoa. This is what I call frivolous speech. Okay? If you read too much of these books, watch too much of these movies, you will start finding the man who you jump, I jump. You know what? You will find that man who says, you jump, but leave your money behind first. And then I will think about it later. Is that a reality? Let's face it. If the main character, what is his name? You remember his name? That's the actor. What is his name in the movie? Jack. See, this name you remember. Okay, Jack, okay? Now, if Jack didn't die, but they really succeeded in eloping, and they both married, you know, you can't stay together in those days, okay? You got to get married, then you have children. What will happen? Do you think they still will love each other like that, romantically? Jack will have to start thinking about what? Milk powder. Milk powder, food, accommodation, right? And she came from a very rich family. She may not be able to stand the subsequent, you know, it's a test. She may or she may not be. But the romantic part about it is he passed away when he was most good looking, and he died because of, to want to save her, right? Would you love to have a man die because he saves you? For the rest of your life, you look at the picture, you look at something that he left you, he dies because of me. Right? But hey, don't ever think about that. People die, then remember them. Why can't you remember them if they're alive and happy and with someone, another woman? Can you be happy for him? No. He cannot be happy with another woman. He must be happy only with me. Okay? This is the reality, not as romantic as the movie. All these fictions that depict this impossible love, but we all kind of dream about that. So you see how deprived we are? Very deprived, so, you know, we need to watch that kind of movies, that kind of books, but it's okay if we have to, you know, get over something. But, you know, don't take it seriously and think that it is real, okay? Now, if you see a movie, I mean, if you read a book and say, well, that person cannot get out of his depression because he couldn't cope with the fact that he cannot get that girl, and then he committed suicide. Now, doesn't mean that you have to follow him and commit suicide, but you have to tell yourself that if I follow this guy, I will end up just like him. I am not going to be like him. But I can feel the pain he went through because I'm having the same pain. I knew how it is like to be deprived, to be rejected. And this book is about that rejection, that this guy, it's like he is obsessed with this woman, but this woman does not love him. I know the pain, I know what he's going through, but I'm not going to end up like him because in the story he killed himself. So this is something that I have to warn myself against. This, I have to be careful with this. Okay? Not that, oh, you see, well, he committed suicide, maybe that's what I should do. Okay? So selecting books, you know, is very important. Selecting authors is very important. Okay? Books about filial piety, okay? Books about good stories, heartwarming stories that encourage us to help other people. Now, these are good. But if we don't study, if we don't read, if we don't learn, and we just practice and we just do things, it's not very good either. This is the next one. If we are sincere in what we're doing, 317 on page 20, but not acquiring knowledge we will only be stubbornly following our viewpoints. We will never see the truth. Because we rely too much on our experience. And we cannot have all the experience in the world within oneself. We have the ability, we have the potential, but that potential is deeply covered. So we need to learn from other people to help us to get enlightenment. So we need to study at the same time and learn, to practice it. And the next one, when studying, now the next one comes to how do we study then? How do we read a book? By the way, how many of you have the habit of reading? 2? 3? Thank goodness we have 3. That is an improvement. I'm not kidding you. This is an improvement because every year at the same question, I only have one person or no. None or one. This time we have 3. Congratulations. Please give them a hand. Because I heard somewhere, according to a survey, Malaysians on average only read 1 page of book a year. Not a day, a year. So how do we pass our time? Watch what? Watch movies. Huh? Got to start reading. Okay, start reading. Okay. Now I discovered this wonderful thing about what we call the WeChat. We can put all you guys in there. So if you have good reading list, we just put in there and all you can receive it. Huh? Good idea? Please make a note, Xing Yao. Please program them into my iPad. You see, I'm doing all this advertisement, which is not allowed, by the way, but it's such a wonderful tool, and the words are larger, I can put a lot more things on it, and it's great, right? But I'm not saying that you have to go all out and buy one, okay? But it is really neat. I saw them all this follow-up is wonderful. If we have good books, we should introduce it to you, right? If we have a good read or article, we should introduce it to you. Then you don't need to spend your time on you jump, I jump. Okay, I will advise you, when you jump, think first. When you want to jump, think about your parents first before you jump. And if you really hate your parents, well, at least think about teacher song before you jump. So that's how I hope that we can have this kind of effect on you, okay, to help you to remind you a little bit. Okay? So then our ancestors or the authors of弟子规is a little bit worried. He's a little bit worried that we will not be interested in reading. He knows it. You see, they're very wise. The book of Analects was compiled, somewhere around 2,500 years ago. But they already know that we have got this problem. We don't like to read. So, it says here, 读书法有三道，心眼口信皆要. So he's already mentioned this, and so he said, when studying, our mind, eyes, and mouth must be focused on our learning. All 3 must be wholeheartedly dedicated to learning. If I can read a book as focused as I play the computer game, I can tell you those words will jump right in front of me. But as I read, I tend to wanders off. Not as focused as I would play the game. See? So here it says, no, focus. It's very important. How to focus? Actually, among the mind, the eyes, and the mouth, which one should focus first? The mind. We must focus the mind first. That's what you see, 心眼口. It is in this sequence. Okay? We must draw our mind, that means your heart, your mind, into yourself first. Because our mind can fly anywhere. They keep flying. No, you say, my heart is here. 我的心在这里啊，你怎么说我的心到处飞呢？You see, in the Diamond Sutra, someone asked the Buddha, "My heart is really disturbed. Can you help me to calm my mind? My mind is really disturbed. 你可以为我安心吗？ Can you calm my mind?" Of course, I can calm your mind. Please give me your mind first so that I can calm it. 你可以为我安心吗？可以，你先把你的心拿给我，我就帮你安。我的心在这里吗？不是。我的心在这里吗？也不是。我的心在外面吗？肯定也不是。我的心在这里吗？讲了7个地方都不是。请问你的心在哪里？我们天天在找这个心啊。Every day, try to look for where is my mind? Where is it? The minute you focus, your mind is there. But if you cannot focus, your mind is everywhere. 你只要心一专，你就什么叫做专心？你可以找到它。But you must focus. So how to be focused? That means when you sit down, we teach the kid, for instance, 书要先放好。We look at our books, our notebooks. Okay? How many of us, when we write with the book like this? Or most of us will write like this. Okay? And I see some people even have notebook parallel to the table like this. And then they write. You see, you're going to have a neck problem. You have a neck and back problem, okay? So if your child wants to take up a profession that can make lots of money, we advise you take a course in vertebrae, in curing neck problems. Because a lot of us will have that. We will do that. And we like to cross our legs also. Cross our legs. See, it's like, look at your notebook, okay? So the minute I say that, most of you would go, So you see, it reflects on ourselves. Our mind is not settled. We just like that, okay? Now you look at our table. Do you find your table, your purse is over there, your mouse is over here, your glass is over there, and your book is somewhere over here. Now you look at this. Right away, you know, where did my heart go? 1, 2, 3, 4 places. My heart has gone to 4 places before. Okay? So I decided to find my glasses. I have to look. There's my glasses. Put it here. Okay? And there's my book. Next time, I put my glasses over here, my purse over here, my mouse over here, and my book over here. Then I have this habit. Okay? So when I find the glasses, where did I go? I look for that first. I look over there first. But my glasses wasn't there. Why? Because this time my heart flew to over here. Okay, so I have to look over here. Then after I finish, I put it somewhere else again. I put it, I don't know where, somewhere under the table or over on the washroom. So, 我的眼睛呢? So, if you find that you put your things everywhere, that means your heart is scattered everywhere. 为什么要置冠符有定位啊? I am practice this. I feel that in 2014, I'm going to get this right. Now, some of you may think that this way is very hard to do. 容易不容易啊? Now, I heard some of you were reading this book, right? Very diligently. 凡出言，信为先，在于忘，奚可焉？话说多，不如少，唯其事，勿宁巧哦。All these are very difficult. All these rules, right? You know what? If you can do one, you'll be able to do the rest. Okay? So you got to say you could do one by one first. Do it one at a time. Right? What is the one thing that you find very difficult to do? What is the one thing you find very difficult to do? Let's start from our staff, okay? 伟洲，你觉得《弟子规》最难做是哪一条？啊？紧的哪一条？紧的后面，紧的后面是什么？难怪这么难啊，你都不记得。不记得当然难啊，都自己天天做都不记得，当然是很难哦，是不是？这个首先要把它记起来啊，没记起就是很难的，因为根本就记都记不得哦。OK， 好，来下一个啊，我start 啊，来，新瑶。你觉得这么多条啊 ？What is the most difficult one that you find very difficult to do? 勿急急，勿模糊。Okay, I think it was chapter 5, chapter 4. That means when you utter your speech, be clear. Be clear. Okay, 勿急急，勿模糊。I believe it was chapter 4, right? 勿急急，勿模糊。Yes, because, very good. I'm very glad that you finally realized that. Because I kept telling you that, hey, please, can you put a pause or a comma in between your speech? She has no pause because she was a good student of Archaic Chinese. Archaic Chinese has no punctuation. They have one big article that goes from beginning to the end, no punctuation. Maybe because you studied the classics too much, huh? So no pauses, no apostrophe, no comma, no full stop, nothing. One by one, okay, one by one. Okay, say it again. 老师，你的电脑要 set up 吗？哦，很好，要。你还有什么东西要 Office 去拿吗？有，去把我那个 notepad 过来。你看，不是很轻松吗？对不对？我又不用教你 repeat, you won't waste your time, I won't spend my time. Instead, you have to keep repeating and repeating. You have to do it first. Now, what happens if she can do that? Several things will happen. First of all, she needs to calm herself down, right? Because if she doesn't calm herself down, she will not be able to speak clearly. So what she is actually practicing is to calm her mind down. 勿急急，勿模糊。Okay, Xingyao, can you find out which page that is? Page 13. Okay, let's page 13. Okay, which phrase? Code 199. Do not mumble or talk too fast. Do not mumble or talk too fast. Okay, how can we do that? Do not mumble and talk too fast. First of all, you must calm yourself. If you don't calm yourself, you cannot, talk calmly. So she would have to learn, 我要慢下来, I have to slow down. Now, trust me, it is not easy for her. It is not easy for her because she is a multitasking person. You walk over to her computer, you got all these little windows here and there, okay? She can multitask. So the mind is multitasking, right? It's not easy for her. If she has to slow down, she will have to shut down some of the windows. Shut down some of the windows and just leave one window open at a time. Okay. So she has to train herself to do that. Shut down all the other windows, but focus on one window at a time. So she is learning to be what? One, patient. 要很有耐心哦。Okay. When patient. And two, she has to learn to slow down, which means that she has to calm down. Okay. And if she can slow down, calm down, and focus, she can start to learn to be respectful. See, when we mumble or talk too fast, it is irrespectful. It's only when we can calm down, then we can show our respect. There's a rhythm to it. So she calms herself down, she slows down, the respectfulness will come up. Just from this simple little thing, do not mumble, do not talk too fast. Now, when she do that, there's another thing she will have to learn to be what? Patient. Because she's a very smart person. You know, smart person's processor tends to go faster. The chip is faster. And no longer 2.2 gigahertz is like decades ahead of us. So the chips goes really fast, go fast, okay? So she will have to what? Process the information a little bit slower. Not slower, she can be still fast, but she has to cope up with our slowness. We are still 1.5, okay, gigahertz. She is already 2.2, okay? The 2.2 has to keep up with our 1.5. 1.5 cannot keep up with 2.2, right? You can only walk this fast. There's no way we can go any faster, but she can slow down, right? That's why you know how Windows, XP now, right, can accommodate the lower version, but the lower version cannot accommodate the higher version, right? So she has to accommodate us. So she has to be patient. And she will learn that by being patient, she can actually accomplish the same thing in half the time. Believe it or not. Why? Because she doesn't have to keep repeating and repeating to old chips like us. She just has to slow down and be patient. Okay, explaining things, you know, very clearly, slowly, we can pick it up. So that's another thing she has to learn, and she will learn. Now, if she can focus, calm herself down, and patient, what else she cannot do? What else you can't do? You'll be able to do 父母呼应唤，可不可以? When my mother calls me, I will answer right away. Can she do that? She can do that. Like totally different. Okay, she would be able to do all the others. So if you can do one successfully, you'll be surprised what you can do others. So for me, I am trying to learn the caution thing. In chapter 3 is to put our clothes and head back to where they are. Okay, let's see. Chapter 3. You can find that. 置冠服有定位，勿乱顿，致污秽。Okay, page number 8, 117. Our head should be properly put on and clothing correctly buttoned and socks and shoes neatly worn. 置冠服有定位，勿乱顿，致污秽。Actually, it's not just putting your socks and hat, it's putting everything at its proper place. Now, have you heard about the TPS system? The 5S system? Remember the 5S? Anybody familiar with the 5S? What are the 5S again? You have to be neat, basically, okay? You have to be neat, okay? Because I'm not going to advertise anymore because companies will kill me. Okay. The 5S basically means everything have to be put back to where it is after you have do a total organization. Okay? So this 5S system, they are expertise, professionals, you know, giving this kind of courses, okay, to teach you how to be like neat and tidy and make sure you put the things back at their original places. That's how you can save your time. Okay, that's how you can find your things, you know, much easier, and they look neat and we feel good. Okay, so actually, 弟子规, you know, thousands of years ago already taught us that since little child. Okay, 置冠服有定位. That means whatever you put, taken away, you have to put it back to where it came from. And I am terrible at that. That's why I spend time looking for, you know, all sorts of things. Secondly, it also means that I did not organize my files properly, isn't it? I put them anywhere. You look at my desktop. My desktop is full of files, which shouldn't, right? All your computer expert, you know that we should not clutter our desktop. But it's, for me, I feel that everyone is important. I need everyone file, so I put them all on my desktop until I can't find anyone. Why? Why I can't find my file? Because there are too many and I can't see clearly. Okay? So I need to organize them okay, and I need to organize them, and wherever I put them out, I should put it back. It's important. If I took that file from English 弟子规 course November, after I use it, I should put it back. Now I'm like, I take it out, I put it in the desktop, and I forget about it. And then when I want to organize it, I forgot where it came from. Then I have to look for all my directories, and that cost me a lot of time. If I had finished using it, put it back, I wouldn't have this problem, right? So 自观服有定位. And it also means that when we start something, we should finish it. We shouldn't just let it hang there, no follow-ups. This is a signal that I don't follow up. I just let things lying all over. I don't follow up, which is, again, bad. So if I can accomplish this, I will be one, my time will be more efficiently used, and what else I find most beneficial? I find that I will follow up. I will accomplish my projects by following up. Now I'm terrible at that. I ask somebody else to follow up. But it's bad. We have to follow up, follow through what we started. 叫做自观服有定位. Okay? And the other one is 列典籍，对吧？有定处. Isn't again the same thing? 列典籍有定处 in chapter 7. When you put the books, you put them back to where they came from. Okay? And over here, in page 21, and on page 22, 345, books should be organized and placed on the bookshelves in their proper places. After reading a book, we should put it back where it belongs. And if we can do that with anything that we do, we become more organized. Okay? Then we won't have this thing as saying, I can't find my things, or what? I don't have time. You know why we don't have time? If I ask you, are you busy? What would you think? Are you busy? Are you busy? Of course you say busy, right? I have not heard anybody who told me, no, I'm not busy. You know why people answer that? Okay, you think about this, right? If somebody tell you, I'm not busy, first of all, what would you think? You have nothing to do? Which means what? You are unemployed? You are what? You are lazy? So we don't want to be seen as somebody who's lazy. We don't want to be seen as somebody who's unemployed. So we tell people we are very busy. We are very, very busy. And always busy. And please never ask me that question again. You know, like those, do not warn me again. You know, this computer flashes this message. Do not warn me again. Of course, I'm busy. What a silly question. Now, so if you sit down with all your sensible, senses with you, sensible sense of you, think or write down. What did I do today? You write down, huh? What did I do today? I can guarantee you cannot recall 2 to 3 hours which you did not know what you did. You believe me or not? You try this at home, huh? You sit down tonight before you go to sleep. After all, I know that we all don't sleep early anyway, right? Anybody here sleep by 11? No, right? And life is boring and the night is long. Let's sit down and do this exercise, okay? What did I do today? I woke up at what time? I ate at what time? I went out at what time? I came out at what time? Who did I talk to and what did I do? You would have at least 3 hours of time which you did not know what you did. Which you do not know what you did. Trust me, it works. Because it works on me. So I don't know how I pass my time. Then I realized that, to checking smartphones start taking me a lot of time. So now I stop looking at those moments, discovery, lots of Facebooks. You got like, new messages. But we are curious, right? Do you not want to see if there are two red things on top of your Facebook which shows what? New messages, news posting? Where would our hands go? It's like a giant magnet. We have no control over it. What we do? Ding! We click. And then what happened? Wow. And before I know it, 2 hours gone. 2 hours of my life, then gone. Okay? So when we say we're busy, usually because we don't want people to think they have nothing to do. Of course, I have something to do. What do you mean by I am not busy? Okay? Busy. Remember 忙忙忙? You know what's 忙忙忙? And the 忙啊，你那个心啊。你say 心眼口嘛，那个心去了哪里？飞出去的 ，it flies out。忙，第一个忙 ，busy 嘛哈。But look at this. This is what heart, and this side is what death. Okay, that means over here your heart is dead. 你很忙啊，忙到我的心都不知道去哪里，在忙 ，OK？ Then 好了 ，your heart is dead. What happened？ 你就变成忙了。Then this is death. This is your eyes. What happened when your eyes are dead? You become blind. Then you start losing sight. You don't know. You know who's who, and do you know what you wore this morning? What color of clothing did you wear this morning? Random check, okay? What color of clothing you wore this morning? Right? She has to think. Blue, okay? Huh? What color did you wear this morning? Huh? White, because that's the only color you wear most of the time. Very clever. Okay, Gary, what color of shirt you wear this morning? White, right? Because you always wear white. Okay, most people will start to think, what color do I wear this morning? I can't remember. Do you remember what food you eat this morning? Do you remember, huh? Remember? Because it's the same food every day. Isn't it? Not much varieties, except giant, huh? Otherwise, it's not much variety. It's either what fried mee hoon or nasi lemak or what tong sui. It's always those few things or roti canai. So you start like losing sight of things. You can't really see that well, can't remember that well because we're busy. I don't know what we're busy about. So mang, eyes can't see. The next one is what? Mang rang the mang. I see the ocean is death. You are lost in the forest. Right? I mean, the first one is, you get lost in the forest. 树林嘛, and then you get lost in the ocean of suffering. Right? And then it's death. You say, you're dead in the ocean of suffering, and you're lost in the forest. 叫做忙. Okay? It all starts with this 忙. Because you don't see clearly if you're just busy. So, and when I'm so busy, 我的心眼口呢，心呢 fly away， 眼睛呢看不清楚，口呢乱讲话。So why? Because the heart wander off, the eyes wander off, and definitely when we talk, we actually most of the time talk nonsensical things. Okay? 为什么呢？心飞得太远了。So our ancestors teaches us to bring back our heart first. 收心，收回来。Okay, let the heart comes back, focus, and then you will see clearly. Use your eyes to fix our sight, onto the book, and read it out. Read it out at the same time. Okay? So if you find it really hard to, difficult to understand something, read it out. It will help. Okay? So when studying, our minds, eyes, and mouth must be focused on our learning. All three must be wholehearted, dedicated to learning. So when reading a book, do not contemplate another. This is page 21, phrase 325 to 328. Do not contemplate another when reading a book. If we have not completed one, do not start another. Okay, you have more. You remember a book more if you can have a thorough understanding of it first before you go on to another book. So how many times do we have to read this book? Many times. Okay, so next year we'll still be learning this book. We're going to do it one more time. Okay, and because we need to keep on repeating and repeating until we remember it. Okay? Then we can do Liao Fan's 4 lessons. What do you have? How to change our destiny. Okay? But actually, you know what? If you can do this, you can change your destiny because you find that you have more friends than enemies. Okay? Why? Because you learn that 恩欲望, 愿欲望, 恩欲报. That you must repay our people's generosity, okay? But you must forget all the grievances. Do not put, any negative, things in our heart. It will only make us down, make us depressed. What happened when you hear somebody criticize you at your back? You heard someone said, she said, or he said that you're not a good mother. You heard she said that I said that you are not a good mother. Okay. So what should you do? You just, she said, you said, she said that. But I did not hear that. Okay, so let's stop at that. Okay, she might have said that, but I did not hear it. But it is through you who said that. Okay, then 有则改无加减嘛. Then I examine what she said. Is there a truth? If there's no such truth, okay, then I just leave it. If maybe there's a certain truth, then I'll see what I can do to improve on the situation. Instead of the important thing is not to put that person in my mind, in my heart. It's not important at all, because if you put that person into your heart or your mind, whenever you see that person, you don't feel comfortable. Because you're already impressed on you that he or she said that. So it's not important who said it. What is more important is what was said. 谁说什么不重要，重要是说的是什么。Then you are very happy to see everyone. Okay, because the important is the truth about the saying. It's not about who says it. What's the difference? Your good friends say it and your enemies say it. What's the difference? What's the difference? For instance, 你这件衣服很难看啊. Your shirt looks horrible. If your enemy say that means this person is already someone you don't like, because that person always kind of act too arrogantly. If that person say it, 你衣服很难看, you will feel very what? Mad and bad, right? But if your good friends say it, 你有没有搞错啊？穿衣服很难看啊. What will you do? 哈哈，是吗？很难看吗？ Right? You say, 很难看吗? Really? Ugly? Because you like your friend, and your friend, you two get along very well, right? Then you laugh over it. If someone you don't like said, hey, you got a problem or what? Your shirt looks terrible. And your friend said, hey, you got a problem? Your shirt looks terrible. One, to your friend, you will, haha, really? The other one, what do you mean? Right? Same words. Isn't it? What's the difference? The difference is who says it. Two people can be equally obnoxious, but because one you trust, one you like, but the other person you don't like, you don't trust, you have different reaction. See, our mind will do what? Our mind will do tricks on us. Okay, it's not the others. You've got to understand it. It's not the person who makes us mad. It is us who make ourselves mad. Think about this, right? So Now, if that person, you absolutely hate that person, everything that person said, you can't stand him or her, you really wish that he doesn't exist in the world, until one day, if he tells you, I just diagnosed with a critical disease, I only have 1 month to live. Now, if he or her say that to you, right away you will what? You change. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be, too negative about her. Because after all, she can't live that long. Maybe I should be nice to her. Then right away you say that, okay? Then the same person comes to you and say, ha ha ha, I was just joking. You get really mad, right? What do you mean you're joking? I thought you were going to die and I was starting to be nice to you, and now you tell me you're joking? You see how a mind, okay? 一下子很可怜别人啊，你快要死了。哎呀，我还是要对你好一点是吗？好了，算了 ，OK 了 ，I'll be nice 哈。Then 没有啦，跟你开玩笑呀。What? Then you start hating her again or hating him again? 哎呀，你自己不是拿自己来 painful suffering? You know where suffering come from? The source of suffering, where did it come from? Ourselves, isn't it? Nobody makes you suffer. It's ourselves, our perception, the way we see things, the way we interpret, the way we process data. So we are the main source of our suffering. Okay, so remember that and turn our suffering back into happiness by being a happy person, optimistic, and don't think about who say what, but more importantly, what was said. Okay, that I can help myself to improve upon myself and find happiness. And remember to smile at least 7 times a day. You look beautiful when you smile. Okay? So thank you very much. We'll end our class tonight. Okay? Thank you.